Hey guys, it's E here from Virginia Grace Living. So I'm out here by one of my freshly prepared plots here. I tilled this up and it's ready to start planting in here pretty soon. But before I do that, there's some other prep work that I want to do. With many things, prep work is almost as important as what you are trying to accomplish. So I've gone through this, broke it up. I went through yesterday and pulled as many of the grass roots and weeds out of here as I could. But today I'm getting ready to plant some peppers and tomatoes. Before I do that, I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about how to space your rows, okay? So for me with the in-ground garden here, it's a little bit different than if you're doing a raised bed, right? So I'm doing in-ground garden and I'm going to mark out all my rows today. I'm not going to plant anything today. I'm just going to get everything marked out, spaced out, and that way when it comes time to plant, it's super easy. I know exactly where everything's going to go. All right, we're going to grab some T-posts. I got to grab the T-post pounder and like a hammer, sledgehammer, hand one. So on this end, I'm going to be doing peppers. I use these shorter T-posts here, these little garden posts. I'm just going to put 3 on this side and 3 on this side. I may end up putting some other little poles in between for supports, but this is just to mark off the rows for right now. All right, let me get the T-post hanger. Is it in here? There we go. What are you doing out? I'm going to go ahead and grab this twine as well. This is what I use for tomato twine, but it's good for marking off rows too. One of these boxes will last. It's like 3,600 feet or something like that. Hello, Berkeley and piggies. I'm not measuring yet, but I'm just going to kind of drop these where I think about where they're going to go. So again, this video is more about doing in-ground row spacing for your tomatoes and peppers. Now, I have grown in raised beds, and if you do that, that's great. This does not apply to that. So I am very blessed. As you can see around me, I'm not really limited for space like I used to be when I lived in a neighborhood. So I actually have 4 individual plots that I rotate through, and I give tomatoes a pretty good spacing. I actually give them 6 feet between the rows. But before I do that, I actually want to measure in, where are we at? Right here a little bit. So from here in to here a little bit, I want to make sure that I have at least enough width to run my tiller down that outside row and in between each row. So the reason I want to do that is for weeding, right? So when I come through here, I want to be able to push my tiller on this side without messing up my tomatoes, just to bust up those weeds as they come up. So we're going to go ahead and measure in about 30 inches from the outside to here, and that's where we're going to put our first post. I'll do the same thing on the other side, and then we'll start measuring 6 feet between the posts for the tomatoes, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do for the peppers a little bit different. So like I said, I want to make sure that I have that room for the tiller to run down through here. So I'm going to take from, let's see, right here, I think about 30 inches in, which is going to put us right on this mound right here. And I'm going to go ahead and pound this one in. That one. Then we're going to go do the same thing on the other side. So from here, like I said, I'm gonna go in 6 feet. So I'm gonna measure from my T-post 6 feet. And again, that may sound like a lot, but once these tomatoes start bushing out, it'll give me plenty of room to be able to get my tiller in here, walk in between, pick without having to be bumping into the other tomatoes. And then we're just going to do that same thing on both sides all around. Alright, so you can see I have my 3 rows marked here for my tomatoes. Next thing we're going to do is the peppers. So I'm going to space those out a little bit differently. I'm going to go about 5 feet from the last tomato row, and then I'm going to put in my first post, and then 4 feet in between for the peppers. Again, for my spacing here, I'm using these smaller posts, the garden posts for peppers, because they don't get as tall. And I'm going to come 5 feet out, so about right here, and I'm going to hammer the first one in right here. And then I'm going to go 4 feet in between the rows for the peppers. Another 4 feet. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is just kind of tie these to show my guidelines where I'm going to plant my plants. So I'm going to tie off right here. Oh. And then I'm just going to run this along the ground to help me guide where I'm going to keep my plants. And this helps to make sure everything is really straight and looks nice, and my rows are nice and straight. So I'm going to go ahead and run this one, and then I'm going to run all the other ones. All right, and there you have it, guys. Nicely marked straight rows. So 3 rows of peppers and 3 rows of tomatoes is what that's going to be. And I still have some room right here if I want to plug something else in right here. So if I end up having more peppers or tomatoes, I can just put in another row right there. But that'll do nice for now. And hopefully, you know, it'll be a good season. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Not a lot to it, but I just wanted to kind of share a technique that I use. And then I will be using the Florida weave for the tomatoes like I did last year. So there will be more posts in between these rows, but I'm not going to do that today. So probably about every, I don't know, 8 feet or so, I'll put a T-post for the tomatoes. The pepper should be fine without that. But yeah, I like to have it nice and neat and ready so that when I'm ready to plant, all I got to do is put those plants in the ground, and I'm not trying to do too much at one time. So I've learned over the years, you know, I try to overdo things a little bit, so I'm trying to slow down and do things right. And I hope this video is helpful to you. If it was, go ahead and hit a thumbs up and subscribe. And as always, guys, thanks for watching, and God bless.